Hey YouTube, Brandon with Taylorsfiresmoke cooking. Today we're going to whip up some delicious pork belly two ways on my Weber 26-inch kettle. Let's go ahead and get into this cook. It's going to be good. You guys stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're back. Here's our pork belly. I have two pieces here. This was from a bigger one, and I just had a couple pieces that I had left over. So that's what we're going to use today. Now I'm going to prepare these two different ways. One, because my wife, she loves pork belly, but she is watching the amount of sugar and carbs that she intakes. So a lot of the rubs that we use, they have a lot of sugar in them, which in turn has carbs. So she did go out and she purchased some of this stuff here, Swerve brown sugar. So on hers, I'm going to make a rub up, but we're going to use this Swerve, I guess keto-friendly brown sugar or sugar substitute brown sugar. And then on the other one, we're just going to use a house blend rub that I like to use that I made myself. This does have brown sugar, salt, black pepper, paprika, onion, garlic. This is your basic all-around barbecue rub. So that's what we're going to use here, my house blend. Then we'll make one up for her. As far as the process is concerned, I cut mine into strips. I know a lot of people like to cut theirs into cubes. I prefer to cut them into strips and then cut them down once we're done cooking them. Just easier for me to handle. I don't have racks all the time, so I'll just cut them into strips, throw them on the smoker, and call it a day. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and do hers first. And again, all I want to do, I'm actually going to cut it in half and then cut it into the strips. So do that. And then some nice strips here. Whenever she's ready to eat, you know, she can have a strip or two once we cut them down and have a couple meals out of that. So, wipe my hands off real quick. For the rub, we're going to use a couple teaspoons of the Swerve here. It's my first time ever using this stuff, so it's kind of an experiment as well to see, one, if it tastes like brown sugar and if it has kind of that weird aftertaste. I have realized and come to know that some foods, once you cook this stuff, it gets rid of that aftertaste, so we shall see. But it does look exactly like brown sugar. It has the consistency of a fresh brown sugar. So we'll see. I'm going to put in, that was 2 tablespoons there. I'll put a tablespoon of one of my favorites, Uncle Steve's Smoke Bomb. Yeah, I go with a tablespoon and a half. That stuff is so good, y'all. And then we're going to use the blend, salt, pepper, garlic. Real simple. And to go with a tablespoon of that. Well, we'll do a tablespoon and a half of that as well. Just kind of mix everything up. And this is going to be our rub for her pork belly. Season them liberally with our rub here. And we're going to get all 4 sides, make sure everything is coated well. Let them sit up and then we'll get started on the other. You guys stay tuned, we'll be right back. All right, folks, and this is the one we're going to do for the house. Again, we've just cut our belly into strips here, and I'm just using a house blend, essentially, for this. Again, it has brown sugar, black pepper, granulated garlic and onion, salt. And we're just going to go nice and liberal with this as well. It's a little paprika. Just a basically a basic all-purpose seasoning here. So we're just going to finish seasoning these up as well. I'm going to get the smokers fired. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back at the grill. We're actually using my Weber 26-inch kettle today, the big boy. So I've got it, you can see, kind of set up for a minion method. So it's lid on this side, and it's going to work its way around. We have some regular Kingsford with some lump charcoal on top, and then I have a couple chunks in there as well. So we got plenty of space, plenty of room to do what we need to do. Let me go ahead and wipe it down, scrape it down, and we'll go ahead and add our belly to it. All right, guys, so we're out at the kettle, and we're just going to go ahead. We're going to put the ones with the swerve, or the ones from my wife, on one side. You can see that they have a little bit darker color to them from that brown sugar. The one I'm using, the brown sugar was a light brown sugar, and it didn't have as much in it. So it's not as light, but it definitely has both of them in there. And I'm very curious to see how they cook and how this swerve is going to hold up on the smoker. I'm not really concerned with time, or I don't really cook the time and temperature often. If I had to guess, I would say my kettle was probably running around 300 degrees. I'll have the upper vents about just under a halfway open, and the bottom grate is 3/4 of the way open. So it's probably running about 300 or so, probably anywhere between 300 to 325. So it's going to have a nice subtle smoke, but I do have a nice thick piece of mesquite chunk on there, which does provide a nice heavy smoke. So we'll get the amount of smoke that we need. All right, guys, so it's been an hour. We just want to check on our belly. You can see it's starting to take on a really nice color. It's been, like I say, about an hour and 15 minutes, so everything is coming along really, really well. Everything is cooking evenly, which is perfect. So we're just going to put the lid back down, no need to spritz, and continue to let it go. All right, family, so we're 2.5 hours in. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull them, take them on in the house, and we're going to cube them up. I'm going to put them inside, each one inside foil packets. The one, my wife's one, is going to add a little bit more of the swerve and some brown sugar and some unsalted butter. And the ones for the house, I'm going to add a little bit more butter, and we're going to put some barbecue sauce on those. Bring them back out here and continue to let them get tender. All right, guys, so we've pulled the belly off. You can see how it's looking right now. Nice color, nice and tender, but we still have a little ways to go. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to cut them into cubes. We're going to put them in a foil boat. I'm going to put a couple teaspoons or tablespoons of unsalted butter and a little more of the swerve brown sugar in there. I did taste a little bit of it, so the salt and pepper and all that is perfect. We're going to put a little bit more this brown sugar in there to get a little bit of a caramelization and glaze on them, and we're going to go from there. So we're just going to cut them into nice bite-sized cubes. Get a good look. You can also see a little ring going on. The fat is rendering very well, so it's really good. And we're just going to continue to cut these bad boys up. Good and hot. All right, so we've got that belly chopped up, and we're just adding about 2.5 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Again, this bulk butter is just going to help add like a little glaze along with the brown sugar to really coat this belly and give it a really good flavor. All right, got our butter on there, and we're just going to put a couple more tablespoons of the swerve on there. One thing I have not done, I have not tasted this, in its raw form or whatever, so. All right. Now, we're going to take our foil boat and foil and wrap this bad boy up. And that's that one. Let me go ahead and get started on our other. So we're just gonna cut them up the same way. Nice little cubes. All right, guys, so we've got the house belly, or the regular one. This is get a good look at that. When I tell you, it smells so good right now. Nice little smoke ring going on. Nice and tender, but like I said, they have a little ways to go before we get all that fat rendered down, but everything is looking good. A nice little peppery note on there. So I'm actually going to keep this one super simple, and I'm not normally one who does a lot of commercial barbecue sauces, you know, unless it's like a big name barbecue spot if we go out of town and go to a spot. But I actually happen to like this, the Sweet Baby Ray's Sweet and Spicy. I want to use this because it is a thicker barbecue sauce. My barbecue sauce is a little on the thinner side. I'm more of a glaze. I want to have these kind of sticky. So we're going to just go ahead and put a little bit of this Sweet and Spicy Sweet Baby Ray's on there. You can use whatever your favorite sauce is, to be honest with you. But this plays really well with this real rich, fatty pork belly. So now we're going to have the salty, the peppery, and the sweet. And we also put a couple tablespoons of butter in here as well. So when we do close it up and let it get back on the grill and steam and begin to tender up, all that's going to come together and make a really, really nice sauce or glaze on our belly. So, same difference, just take them. We're going to close this bad boy up. We're going to double wrap them. Then we're going to go back out there to the kettle, put them on and let them run for another hour or so before they're ready. And then when they're ready to pull, bring you guys back in. We'll give it a taste. All right, y'all, so here's the finished product. This one here is the one that we sauced up with the Sweet and Spicy Sweet Baby Ray's, and this is the one that we used the swerve on for my wife. Nice color, looks really good, nice and tender. Let's go ahead and get some and see how it tastes. All right, guys, so we're finally done with our belly here. These are the ones that have the swerve sugar substitute brown sugar on them, and these are our house belly bites with a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce and then our own house-made seasoning. So I do want to go ahead and get a bite of the one for my wife first. I'm really curious to see how that brown sugar tastes, if it held up, if it tastes like brown sugar, if it kind of falls flat. But see how it looks. Looks nice and good. Yep. First impression, though, the belly is really good regardless. It's not very sweet, and that could be just because I was just being really cautious with how much I put on it. You do have a sweet flavor. I did taste it after the fact, and the flavor of it is almost like the sugar substitute that you can buy. It tasted really similar to that with just like a hint of molasses or something in it. It's pretty good though. The belly is really good itself. I still prefer regular brown sugar to that. And then let's go ahead and get the other one. That one is really good too. Sweet Baby Ray's is really good with it. This one is a little bit saltier, a little bit more pepper because I did use my own seasoning on that. And then again with a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's. It's really, really good. We didn't worry about time and temperature. We cooked them until they were tender. Then we wrapped them up and then made them all the way tender. So you can make delicious pork belly on pretty much anything. You can smoke or cook anything on whatever you want to. Like I said, today we used our 26-inch Weber Kettle and everything worked out great. We did a little bit of a minion method, put some a couple of wood chunks in there, Kingsford charcoal and regular charcoal, and the what thing called? I don't know right there. lump charcoal. So you guys give it a try. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Till the next time, God bless you. We'll see you around.